I just got done recording spooky content for my other channel, and I was making breakfast when I started the craziest video, and I figured, like, let's watch it together, because why not? So let's watch this video together, and we can react together to what was once known as California, you know, the Golden State. It wasn't gold, you know, they say all that glitters isn't gold. California's golden, but it's corroded. It's got like corrosion now. It's like covered in who knows what. Let's go watch this, okay? And hopefully California can recover. This is sad. That's some crazy, insane exposing, okay? And in this video, he is going to be exposing California and their crazy laws that are pretty much communism. It's the most communist state we've ever experienced. And it's a hellhole. It's a hellhole, people. So
thank you to Ground News for sponsoring this video.
An Irvine businessman says he was robbed of his $600,000 watch.
The guy with the black hoodie, he tried to do something with his gun. His gun got jammed like twice.
So as California continues its journey down the progressive path of destruction, the law-abiding are running out of time. And they're now being followed from their jobs and from their homes by criminals looking to get paid. Yet while this is happening, scammers are taking over street corners, if those corners aren't already being used as places of refuge for the homeless. And as you're about to see, this entire place is headed in the wrong direction all at once.
The victim says the three...
But nobody should be surprised because it's been heading in this direction. And if you're surprised, you've been living in delusion. It's time to wake up. It's late. It's very late time to wake up. Your alarm has been ringing for an hour. It's time to get up.
Three men were waiting in a parking garage. He opened the door to his Bentley, and they surrounded him with guns drawn.
It was a chaotic scene outside the Abbey Food and Bar in West Hollywood Friday night. You see food carts abandoned on the sidewalk. It was in response to community members' complaints about pickpocketing and criminal activity from street vendors.
So many homeless over the past year have been putting themselves on the streets in front of our apartments. We've been getting threatened.
He says numerous reports have been made to the city and that crews have come out to clean the area. But he says the homeless camps then return.
I got the phone call at 6 a.m. in the morning by the manager. The manager said, your car got stolen. It's amazing how they get the car started. I have my keys, right? I have two of my keys. Here's the key.
Every time people have been trying to pass by, they just really couldn't.
People who live and work near Avalon Boulevard in South LA say this homeless encampment has become dangerous.
So while all that's going on, look at this. A group of Colombian criminals drilled into a jewelry store, stole $1 million worth of stuff. And what nobody's talking about is, well, this type of crime might seem totally bizarre to most of America. In California, it's just another day at the office. Business as usual in America's largest sanctuary state, which has made itself a magnet for mayhem as criminals from all across the globe already here illegally hunker down in California for protection. Protection that doesn't just stop local officials from working with ICE, but also extends to bad guys of all backgrounds, including legal residents who are released from California's revolving door jails again and again after they commit crimes that...
You know what? Keep following in the footsteps of California, blue states. You already see it happening. I mean, I go to New Mexico pretty often. It's pretty clear what's going on there. I'm sure Colorado's the same. I'm sure even Phoenix is pretty close to this. Like, we have a lot of border control here because we're used to that and we have to keep our borders safe. But it's bad. It's bad. No cash bail. Catch and release. You can't arrest an illegal immigrant? What is this? What the fuck is this? It's disgusting and evil, and those who can't see it, I just don't understand. I don't understand. You prefer to live like this, or you just don't want to believe it's happening? I just don't get it. I don't get it.
that used to result in actual consequences, but now do nothing more than train budding thugs while they plunder the law-abiding, earning a master's degree in criminal activity before they even turn 18 years old. And with the state's defunded sanctuary police totally overwhelmed by this crime tsunami, the only thing the bad guys are worried about here is attempting to rob someone a different group of criminals got to first. Which explains the real reason we're seeing such brazen tactics from the bad guys. There's so much crime going on here that if criminals don't move fast, they'll be last. And who do you think suffers from all this? Well, that would be the law-abiding. Businesses that get robbed so often shutting down permanently seems like a smart move. And the law-abiding citizens who can't even walk down the street or leave their office before masked thugs gang up on them. But as you're about to see, even a business that manages to recover from one of these insane robberies, well, they're still probably doomed.
In a massive robbery at a jewelry shop in Los Angeles, burglars tunneling through the walls of the business next door to get at the store's safe. And then police say the thieves disabled the store's alarm system and cameras so they wouldn't be detected. The owners told NBC Los Angeles they estimate about $500,000 in jewelry and property were stolen.
What do you think is going to happen to that store if it ever reopens? What's going to happen? They're going to stock it with new inventory, get all new stuff, let all their customers know they're back? Well, the criminals are going to find out they're back, and then they're going to come back. And we know thieves robbed this place after staking it out as they knew where the safe was and how to open it. But there's another angle to this whole crime in California thing that nobody running this place wants to talk about.
Inside this vehicle under arrest, accused of being a part of an international crime operation, traveling to the U.S. to commit burglaries, camouflaging cameras in plants, and using Wi-Fi signal jammers to target homes. Officials tonight saying those 4 men are
Wow, that's crazy. That's insane. This is insane. I haven't heard about this at all. Have you guys? I have not heard about this at all.
Colombian nationals and traveled to the U.S. to engage in what authorities now call burglary tourism.
So you've now got people who are essentially criminal tourists. They come to California specifically to plunder it and get away with whatever it is they just did. And the only way to get such insane levels of lawlessness in a place like this is if you go out of your way to help criminals. And in a place where criminals are the victims, what you're about to see should surprise no one. I recently discovered this awesome app and website called Ground News. They gather over 50,000 news sources from all over the world and show it in one place. They show you bias rating, factuality, and even ownership for each source that covers a story. Let's take the story of Illinois suing the Trump administration over National Guard deployments to Chicago. We can see that it was covered by over 550 sources. But if you read only the left-leaning sources from MSNBC, they'll tell you that the troop deployment is totally unlawful. But as you can see on the little chart here, they've also got a mixed factuality rating, while WSRP, a high factuality source from the right, shows this same information without the spin and calls it what.
That's a new feature I hadn't heard of on Ground News. That's pretty cool. I like that.
But it is a challenge to President Trump's plan, and that's why I started using Ground News. % off their Vantage plan, which is the same plan I use. You can also scan this QR code right up here on the screen. The link below will also be in the video description. Now let's get back to the video.
Someone pulled it on someone tried to tackle a nice lady. It's happening in front of my house.
The target turned out to be a retired professional fighter who was out for a walk with his girlfriend. That retired fighter didn't want to show his face, but he spoke exclusively with NBC4.
A small black sedan pulled up, guy jumped out with a gun, came at me and attacked me.
Wow.
I was able to disarm and take the gun from him. I had him pinned down. He was trying to get up.
Wow. So this criminal who is being pinned to the
I'm not gonna lie, that's fucking awesome. That's badass.
ground here, jumped out of a car and tried to rob the wrong person. But this is happening all the time in California. You got people that are targeting specific individuals or see something on someone's wrist and just decide that they're going to strike, revealing that this wasn't some sort of random crime. This was planned out ahead of time. There were multiple people involved. There was a car with a driver. There were people who were supposed to get out and steal something. These are premeditated heists, and some of the watches these people are wearing are incredibly expensive.
Richard Mill Nadal watch. He posted a picture of the watch Sunday.
Get out of California. Either that or start voting red, because this is crazy. Gavin Newsom does not have... He's never been good at this job. I don't know why you guys hired him. I don't get it. He failed a city. He's failed... He's failed the entire state. And now he wants to run for presidency. That's asinine, my friends. That's asinine.
Ultimate break. The best way to see the world for anyone 18 to 35.
On social media.
I have a private Instagram. Sometimes, yeah, I'm posting here and there. I know it's wrong, but this could be part of it. It could be someone that knows me from my social networking.
Very scary.
Irvine police are investigating
His
why the man was
private-
targeted as they search for the robbers.
Private account. Private.
They want people to follow a simple rule.
Yeah, with social media, we're all sharing the things in our daily lives, right? And they're kind of breadcrumbs. You know, if you're showing your apartment, you're showing your place of business, your vehicle, they could leave thieves to
Right.
you.
So they absolutely could. And
Look, I think like this because I have kids, but you shouldn't have to think about this every day when you're posting your coffee in the morning, if you're sharing your meal with your friends or where you're at. Like, yeah, you should think about it a little bit, but you shouldn't have to be like that hidden. You should be protected by your government. If a crime happens, they should arrest the criminal. They should charge the criminal, not give them a free pass, some free food, and even more drugs. I don't get it. I don't understand.
look, while I would probably say a $600,000 watch is not the purchase any of us should make at all, this is not the fault of the victim. We can't victim blame here and say, oh, this guy, he bought this watch and he spent his money on this thing and it's his fault he got robbed. If we do that, we're no better than the people protecting the criminals here. But the real problem that led thieves to these individuals is the fact that nobody's going to jail for this kind of stuff. Why is nobody talking about that? We've decriminalized crime in this state and we've made it a sanctuary for fugitives. You've got a recipe for lawlessness, which is just taking over this entire society.
Did you guys see that man? He is petrified.
We've decriminalized crime.
Look at him there, standing there. They threw the entire gates, security gates down. He is fucking freaked out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 against 1 in one shop. And they just broke a security guard down. Gate down. Do you really think he's gonna feel like he can take them on? And the police are gonna do nothing, and he doesn't even look like he's American. He's probably a legal immigrant, a legal one who got his business legally, where he's now being legally robbed by criminals. This is so gross. It upsets me so much. It makes me so upset.
In this state, and we've made it a sanctuary for fugitives. You've got a recipe for lawlessness, which is just taking over this entire kind of stuff. In this state, and we've made it a sanctuary for fugitives. You've got a recipe for lawlessness, which is just taking over this entire society. Why is nobody talking about that? Probably because it would expose the fact that the things progressives say are good for America probably aren't.
When the gun was wrestled to the ground, I'm the one that went and
these guys are armed too, man.
Over, the apartment fence.
LA
That's
County
scary.
Sheriff's deputies responded and took the gunman into custody, but the getaway driver took off. This incident on Sweetser Avenue in West Hollywood happened less than 2 weeks after a similar story a half mile away. On October 10th, 3 men dressed in all black hopped out of a car on Hacienda Place, then stole a Rolex, wedding ring, and phone from Abram Cortez, who was visiting from San Francisco.
Right. So the interesting thing about that crime is this individual was visiting. He lived somewhere else, came to this neighborhood and there were criminals in a car who were strapped and they just jumped out and robbed him. So some of these crimes could be premeditated, like this former retired fighter who's probably somebody with a decent following online who individuals know about, or this guy that had a $600,000 watch and was showing it out around on Instagram. But for someone who's visiting to be caught up in all this, I mean, that tells you something even more frightening is going on here. It's conceivable that you have criminals who are loaded and ready to go and are on their way to one crime scene and just decided to create another one. And the thing is, these watch heists, you know, if the watch is expensive, you could be looking at maybe a 5-figure payout for that thing. You could be looking at $100,000 or more payout for that thing, depending on how rare and how valuable it is. But as we've also seen in California, stealing jewelry, well, apparently it's just as easy to do this for criminals here inside jewelry stores themselves. And lately there have been several high-profile heists which took place when these stores were open while workers were inside. But now the question is, how are they learning and perfecting these skills?
It's a wake-up call, Stefan Wendell.
And lately there have been several high-profile...
Okay. I turned on my phone and there was like 1,000 alerts. I apologize. Let's see. I wanted to count how many people are here because it's definitely more than 13 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They're splitting $1 million. 19 people splitting $1 million. It's like Tower Heist, right? It's so weird that this is just all happening in California and like we don't hear about it at all. And they want every country to be, I mean, they want every state to be like California. It's just, I don't get it.
Crime scene and just decided to create another one. And the thing is, these watch heists, you know, if the watch is expensive, you could be looking at maybe a 5-figure payout for that thing. You could be looking at $100,000 or more payout for that thing, depending on how rare and how valuable it is. But as we've also seen in California, stealing jewelry, well, apparently it's just as easy to do this for criminals here inside jewelry stores themselves. And lately there have been several high-profile heists which took place when these stores were open while workers were inside. But now the question is, how are they learning and perfecting these skills?
It's a wake-up call Stefan Wendell says he never expected. First, hearing the news, then seeing these surveillance videos. Thieves stealing his 2017 Dodge Charger Daytona 392 from the shared garage of the Studio City apartment building that he's lived in for almost 20 years.
It's amazing how they got the car started. I have my keys, right? I have 2 of my keys. Here's the key, here's one of my keys, and I have another key here, so I don't know how they did it.
Also unclear.
So what's fascinating about this is, even though we're not talking about millions of dollars in jewelry getting stolen here, these thieves, they're committing the exact type of crime that prepares them to do everything else we've covered in this video, whether it's sneaking up and taking somebody to the cleaners on the side of the road or cleaning out a business that people work decades to establish. Because here we see them entering a garage, which is a secure facility. It's got a gate you can't enter without permission. There are cameras everywhere. There are lights on. You've got to move quickly. And it is not inconceivable that the people disabling jewelry store alarms got started disabling car alarms. You see how this works? We've got progressively higher rates of crime at all levels here in what I like to call the looters pyramid. So here we have the looters pyramid, and at the top,
I'm so glad he's giving us a lesson. I was really hoping to figure out the looters pyramid. I've been hearing about this everywhere. I'm being sarcastic, just so you know. But I am grateful for him to do this because it totally, I want to learn. Teach me.
You've got your multi-million-dollar heists, your jewelry store robberies. Underneath that, you've got your armed robberies for your $600,000 watches. Beneath,
I'm not gonna lie, it would have been funnier if you put Gavin Newsom at the Gavin Newsom at the top of the pyramid. Like put a little Newsom there, right? With his B next to him, because he's just taking billions from the people. How much was that train again? How much was that train again? How much did he get paid by those guys who started the fire? Forgot. How much was that? Yeah, it's a pyramid, all right, but I think Newsom deserves a king, a crown at the top, a throne, what are they called? What are the seats? A throne, right? He deserves a throne at the top.
That you've got your home robberies, which, depending on how much gets stolen from a home, could be anywhere from 5 figures or more. Usually those happen when people aren't home. And then down here at the bottom, you've got your auto thefts, which are probably a step up from robbing like a candy store or something. But the cars that get stolen down here are used to commit this crime, and this crime, and this crime. How do you think all these drivers have getaway cars?
Let's also make sure.
How do you think they've got a vehicle that they're not afraid to drive down the street and jump out of while they're robbing somebody? Those cars are stolen too.
Okay, let's go back to the pyramid. And let's add Newsom.
How do you think they've got a vehicle that they're not afraid to drive down the street and jump out of while they're robbing somebody? Those cars are stolen too. You see how this works? Criminals get experience doing the wrong thing, which makes them more effective criminals, something society does not need. And then they can use the thing that they just stole to do something worse with it.
Threw my keys down and I started giving them my things.
It is unknown if these two incidents are related. Still, the news has neighbors concerned.
But for someone to be robbed at gunpoint at 1 p.m. in daylight on a Wednesday is freaky and very scary.
What is your message to the community?
Stay vigilant and keep your head on a swivel.
Stay safe.
Oh my goodness, this is so crazy. Hollywood. I mean, you know what they say, you reap what you sow, but damn, it would suck to be there right now. It looks rough. It's rough. Prayers to anyone stuck there. Prayers to anyone who was in the fires. So many people have lost so much in all these fires. All the people who have lost family members to immigrants that are not acknowledged. I'm so sorry. My prayers go to you too. And to all the illegal migrants who are caught up in all this. This is so sad for them. And it's a problem all started by one man. The one sitting at the top of the pyramid.
Be prepared. It's California makes it tough to carry a gun, but if everybody had a gun, this wouldn't happen.
Oh, he has a point. These criminals all seem to have weapons. Now, of course, anyone who goes out and obtains a weapon should do it legally. You should get the proper training. You should get the proper license. You should abide by all of the laws. But the real problem here is that the police are just 10 steps behind, and it's not even their fault. They have been disabled as an effective force for policing these communities because there are so many criminals here, they just can't be everywhere at once. I mean, every week we've got people getting robbed by a drive-by crew of professionals on the side of the road in these rich neighborhoods. We've had a whole bunch of jewelry heists lately that have just absolutely shocked everyone who hears about them because they're so brazen, and all this stuff's happening in broad daylight. Meanwhile, all this crime...
Dude, that one dad, he was just like, I just gotta get out of here. He did not want to stop. Look at them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. With the swing of one of those weapons, we're gonna call them weapons right now because they would be a weapon if they were used that way. He could be dead. One hit to the temple. Yeah, I'd run too. 7 fucking grown-ass men. And you're alone. Look at, it's middle of the day. Imagine being an actual legal immigrant coming here, right? And hoping like, oh, America, the great, the beautiful. It's supposed to be a place where we have freedom and where you are safe and you can prosper. And you come here and you end up in a blue state. And you end up living like this. And you're like, this is what I just left. Why do they advertise America this way? And sadly, California is becoming like a third world. It's true. California goes full third world. That's literally the title of this video.
hears about them because they're so brazen, and all this stuff's happening in broad daylight. Meanwhile, all this crime is taking place in areas of the country that like to tell us they're perfect and they don't have a crime problem.
Gasparino reads in part, quote, "The number of felonies in Chicago, not to mention New York, Los Angeles, and Portland, Oregon, is declining only because woke prosecutors are knocking down felonies to something less severe for political reasons," DOJ sources
Fascinating.
say. It looks like the Democrats are trying to get voters to ignore reality, and Evita, it looks like they just got caught.
Yes, and I understand why they would want to, because our cities are dying. They are dying. When I was a student at the University of Chicago, which is the south side of Chicago, classmates of mine were on their way to and from class.
Yeah, and these are places that tell us they don't have a crime problem. But there's a big difference between official crime statistics and crime that's actually happening. And this perfectly explains what that is. For example, this person that was tackled while he was trying to rob someone with a weapon. Well, everyone knows what this person did. He's on camera. He was caught with a weapon. There are massive amounts of evidence which could be used to convict this individual of the crime that they committed, which is armed robbery. But what are prosecutors going to do with that evidence? Are they going to look at it and say, this may not be sufficient to charge this individual with armed robbery? They're going to find some way to not prosecute this person. They're going to disregard charges. They're going to drop everything that the guy really did. And this is going to become a misdemeanor at the end of the day. And then what's going to happen? Nobody's going to go to jail. Nobody's going to lose their freedom. These thugs will be back out on the streets. The getaway driver escaped in that instance. We got a big problem here in California, and progressive policies aren't fixing it.
And this is exactly what has radicalized me and woke me up. Progressive judges, progressive laws, democratic laws, they're the ones ruining our country. It's very clear to me. Could that change in the future? Of course. Republicans could turn into idiots again. Of course. But right now, in the present moment, we cannot deny what's happening. And I am seeing a red wave arrive. I'm not the only one feeling radicalized by what's happening around us. And it's my generation having kids now. So my grandma always says, what does she say? Well, I don't care. I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to be here anyways. And it's kind of that they gave to our parents, the Gen Xers, who are like, well, it is what it is. It is what it is. Can't change it. Right? That inspired us, millennials, to say, oh yeah, we can change it. Watch. And you guys have seen a lot of radical changes happening. I feel like it's just the nature of the beast fighting back, right? As we try to create something better. And it's happening. It is happening. So God bless America. God bless all these people, okay? Even these idiots on the streets doing wrong, like freaking God bless them, wake them up. May they see that you are the way, Lord, because what? This is not okay. And even the lawmakers, like, wake up. I know Newsom's not going to wake up. That's like a dead road, right? But I hope the people who are voting for him are waking up. Because that's what needs to happen next. I'll see you next time.